Some of us can be moody. We can get in a real cranky mood. And if that's you, you've probably noticed that it can negatively affect your relationships. I don't think it's reasonable for us to always look on the bright side of life. I do think, however, that there are some ways to just shift ourselves a little bit so that we don't feel so bad and we're not so negatively impacting our relationships. Stacy Rocklein, and I'm on a mission to eradicate loneliness. And a very easy way to find yourself feeling lonely is to push away everybody in your life with your bad mood. Here's an example. The other night, I'd gotten home late from driving soccer practice, and I had made this whole meal and had gone out of my way, and I wasn't really that hungry, but I knew that everybody else needed to eat. And then once everyone got home, they were kind of like, well, I'm not hungry. Well, I'm going to go do this first. And then all of a sudden there was this meal I had just prepared in the kitchen. I didn't want to eat it. Nobody else wanted to eat it. And I just got in a mood about it. And I started to complain and do a little diatribe about how I do all the menu planning and the grocery shopping, and here I'm cooking and nobody can get home on time and nobody wants to eat, blah, blah, blah. I just watch as everybody retreats away from me, which I would totally do too. So here, my complaining has pushed people away. And I think that's a normal reaction. I don't want to be around that kind of energy. They don't want to be around that kind of energy. When you're complaining, you are stirring up your own negativity and it bleeds out into your world. Optimism, on the other hand, has the opposite effect where it makes you feel hopeful and happy and enthusiastic. And that also bleeds out. It's hard to go from this to that. So I try to get myself from this to neutral. So neutral just is like reports and statements. It doesn't have that negative complaining feel to it. And to be honest, I think it's in itself more honest. It's talking about, instead of what's happening outside of you, you start talking about what's happening inside of you. Because honestly, in that moment, how I felt was insignificant and neglected. And what I had done was not appreciated or that it mattered. And it was really easy to just point my fingers out at everybody else, but that creates that negative energy, creates a negative energetic space, when the more neutral statement, the one that doesn't make me feel negative, is I worked really hard on this and I wanted us all to sit down and have a meal together. That doesn't make me feel happy and it doesn't make me feel sad or negative. I don't think sad is a negative thing necessarily, but it's a more honest assessment of what's happening to me. So going neutral, I think, is an amazing shift, and it's a more honest shift because now you're reporting what's really going on. I have an anniversary coming up of a friend who passed away, and I can be like, this is so unfair. He was so young. This is so dumb. There are people who don't even want to be on this planet. He was the most excited to be here, but that just makes me feel negative. When the more truthful thing is, I loved him and I miss him and I wish we'd had more time together. And that doesn't make me feel like I'm spreading negativity into the world. It's not positive. I'm not the silver lining in this situation, because I'm not going to get there on something like that. But at least it's more neutral. So I find myself sometimes, and maybe you do too, the world can be a place worthy of our complaints. Our lives can have a lot of things to complain about, but what we're doing is we're looking around us and we are focusing on how it does not look the way we want it to look. We want something, that's not it. And so we complain about it. Getting to neutral takes us going, what is the thing that I want? How can I talk about the thing that I want instead of just get angry that my wants don't line up with reality? That's moving us in the right direction. Now, if you can get all the way over to the silver lining, or what's great about everybody not eating the meal you just prepared, that's awesome. Sometimes I can shift myself all the way over there. Sometimes I can just be okay, you're really complaining, you're very negative. What's the good thing happening here? But not always. I can at least move myself into a more honest, neutral, energetic space. And when you start to talk about your needs or your wants or just how your feelings with the people in your life, that doesn't push people away, that pulls people in. People want to show up for you when you are having a desire that's not being met, that you're having a feeling, because you're not throwing a bunch of negativity on top of them. So if you find yourself in a space where you're complaining a lot, and that's totally normal, like you're human, just like me, we have our moments, can you reframe it and turn it into something that is more neutral and honest, and use those kind of words instead of the complaints? Sometimes you got to catch it. Sometimes you have to be like, give me a do-over. I wish I hadn't said that. I want to say this other thing instead. But the more we try to create connective, energetic spaces with each other, the closer we will be, the more we eradicate loneliness together. And it's something we can all work on, and it's free. Okay, make sure you subscribe to this channel so you get notifications about the videos, and like and comment, and I will catch you next time.